and touch the sky. In the city of angels, feels like I'm coming home. With my head up in the clouds, I am searching for something, and I'm still hoping. 'Cause I wanna be in, not out, wanna make this all count. Yes, I wanna go crazy now, gonna make this all count. Feeling like a rock star, 'cause tonight I'm getting out of line and it's alright. Feeling like feeling like just as cool as John Wayne in his movies. Feeling like I'm James Dean and I know it. Feeling like feeling like a rock star. Feeling like a rock star. Feeling like a rock star. Feeling like a rock star.
I don't wanna feel this way, but it's not that easy. You're complicating things for me. No, it's not that easy. Maybe just a little time can heal me, but it doesn't feel the way. What are you doing to me? Why'd you break my heart? Left me in the dark, dark. Why'd you have to go? I don't wanna feel this way. Though I'm broken, I'm still hoping I could be with you. I'm still breathing, it's not easy. I'm just a fool for you. Yeah, I'm just that stupid. Maybe just a little time can make you change your mind about us. I thought that we were meant to be. Why'd you break my heart? Left me in the dark, dark. Why'd you have to go? I don't wanna feel this way. Though I'm broken, I'm still hoping I could be with you. I'm still breathing, it's not easy. I'm just a fool for you. I'm just a fool for you. I'm just a fool for you. For you. For
What's up, y'all? Welcome to Tuesday Night Studio Sessions. My name is Sean. I'll be your host. Hope you're having a wonderful night. Hope you're having a wonderful week. I am having a good week. I have not worked at all this week. I went to summer camp with the youth group in my church. My son and my daughter were there. Yeah, I had a great time. I was the videographer of the camp. So I had several challenges this year. One being the fact that I can't see out of one of my eyes. I also didn't feel well for some of the camp. But my DJI Mini 3 Pro was amazing. The fact that I could keep it up in the air for about 45 minutes, the fact that I could do master shots, the fact that I could, once I turned off the stupid sideways, like I don't know why the Mini 3 Pro, I mean, I understand why the Mini 3 Pro has a handicap of not being able to fly left or right when you first get it because there's no optical avoidance. But just a little frustrating that is the automatic setting. But once I figured out how to turn off the or turn back on the sideways movement, then I had all my controls where I wanted it to. There were a couple shots right at the beginning that I tried to shoot with it, and then it wouldn't move, so I was a little frustrated. The other thing, since I was flying around kids all weekend, before you start yelling at me, all of the kids' parents signed a waiver form that I was going to film them with a drone and all that kind of stuff. But so you're not supposed to fly over kids that you don't have permission to fly over, and you're not supposed to just hover over them, but you can fly over them. Okay, that's the rule. And you have to stay 20 feet away from people. So I was 20 feet away from everybody the entire weekend, except for when I launched, and you'll see kind of when I launched. But that little drone was a champ. We had Lake Day, and there's this swing that everybody swings out over the lake and falls, and I was able to just fly my Mini 3 Pro over there and point at that area and just let the drone hang out in the sky. And I would get up close to them, and then I'd pull back as they were jumping, and I did some sideways shots. I did some spotlight shots where there's like a kayak in the water, and so I'd put a spotlight on the kayak, and then I'd fly over it, and the drone would kind of pitch down, and then and then I'd point at 3 different places on the lake, and I did a master shot. So those were all of my B-roll kind of opening shots to all the videos, and so had a great time. I had a great time with that drone. And we went to a different campsite this year than we usually go. We're usually surrounded by trees and cabins, and it's like this little, like a cul-de-sac of cabins, a little loop. But this year we had the camp, like the bunkhouses and the cafeteria and the auditorium was all in one spot. And then next to it was this huge football field, and it was going downhill. So all the trees on the other side of the football field were like downhill. So I could take off at the top of the hill and be over everything. There's one master shot that my drone almost backed into the building, but it cleared the roof, and I was okay. So that camp, the drone, the Mini 3 Pro was a lifesaver this week, especially the fact that I couldn't see very well. One of my biggest fears going and filming camp this year is I'm always like in the middle of the action. I'm always in the middle. I've got my handle on top of my camera. I'm usually walking backwards, and I'm looking at the screen. But this year, since I didn't have any peripheral vision on this side, I was like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to be around all these crazy, energetic kids without bumping into people, because I'm a big guy, and how am I going to do it without bumping into people and all that? But I will say the DJI Mavic 3 Pro was amazing. It would tell me when I was too close to things. I mean, the obstacle avoidance was wonderful. But I'm a pretty good flyer at this point, so I didn't need the obstacle avoidance. I'm pretty good at, looking at my surroundings before I take off. And I got most of my shots were like 30 feet up in the air, or no, I'd get 40 feet up in the air over the field, and then I'd turn my 2 times zoom on. And so visually I was like 10 feet off the ground, but I was really like 30 feet off the ground. So anyway, that was awesome. The other camera that I used during a lot of the action shots was the Insta360 X3. I bought another one right before camp. So I had 2 X3s that I could put one, as kind of a, I don't know, kind of a tripod shot. It was really a light stand shot. And the other one, I would put on a big selfie stick, and I would hang it upside down, and I could get really low to the ground on like the games where they were like sitting on the ground and throwing a bucket of water behind their back to the next person and stuff like that. So that was really, really great. Then in the auditorium for worship and the message and all that kind of stuff, I brought both of my Sony FS5s with me. So if you guys were at the South Florida drone meetup, I had a big old camera on a tall tripod. So that's a Sony FS5, and I have 2 of them. And the reason I like to use those instead of like mirrorless cameras or, point and shoots and GoPros and stuff like that, my GoPros never fail to overheat. I've had DJI Actions overheat. There's always like the tiny little cameras that are so compact to fit in your pocket. There's always some kind of weird little quirk that don't allow them to film for a long time. They're wonderful for sneaking on a roller coaster or taking quick little shots here and there. But running a camera for, 2.5 hours, just like hitting record and leaving it on, you really need something a little bit more professional. I was just in the right place at the right time to get 2 FS5s for really, really cheap. The FS5s are nice enough, or they're compact enough that they everything comes off of them. So you've got like the body, and then the side handle comes off, the top handle comes off. I bought a tiny little pancake lens to go on the front of it. There's different size batteries to help with balancing. So I put the FS5 all the way stripped down on the DJI RS 3 Pro, and flew that in the auditorium, and it was awesome. I would like lean up against the wall, and I'd turn just the pan on, and I'd push my thumb over, and it would just kind of pan the room. So I could like find my spots. I got up on stage and got the guitar player, the bass player, and all this kind of stuff. So that was really cool. And I was also able to put it on, I bought a Manfrotto, and I think it's called like a gimbal stick or something like that, but it is made to put on the bottom of a gimbal, and it's maybe 3 feet long, and then it extends to about 5 or 6 feet. So I was able to lift it over all of the kids and get the band on stage and stuff like that. So had a great time with that. And then we have, at the end of camp, we have a lip sync battle where each cabin's given like a song from like an old Disney movie or something, like Tarzan or something. And then they spend all week practicing that. And so for that, I had the FS5 pointing at them, I had the FS5 on stage pointing at the judges. Then I had my Insta360 1-inch 360 camera right above my camera. And so I've got that full lip sync battle from 2 real angles and then a whole 360 VR version of it. Our soundboard recorded the MP3, so I took that, or no, it was more of a WAV file. I took that WAV file, the audio, and synced it up with those videos. And, but yeah, it was wonderful. So I know sometimes I talk about tiny cameras like the Go 3 or, GoPro 11, like little things like that. But I love being able to trust my gear. The other good thing about the FS5s are they have full auto modes. The reason I like it better than my Canon C300 or C200 is because not only does it have autofocus, but it has a zoom functionality. And so I don't know why cameras don't really have good zooms anymore. Like everybody wants to have these amazing crispy cinema lenses so they can pull focus and pull zoom all they like on their own. But like I don't know how people get smooth zooms. Like you have to practice so much. Whereas on these FS5s, I can turn the smoothness on the camera, and I can just push down the zoom button and it starts off and then it ramps up and just zooms really, really slow. And it's buttery. Same with the autofocus. Like the autofocus doesn't like breathe in and out. It autofocuses slowly, so it doesn't go past the sharpness and then come back. It zooms in perfectly. And then the FS5, I don't know if I'm sure the newer Sony cameras have this functionality now, but back then it was the only one with a automatic variable ND filter. So if you've got like your iris, I was going to say nailed in, but that's not what I wanted to say. If you got your iris set to where you want your iris to be set, and you don't want to change your iris, but you go from inside to outside, the ND filter will automatically fix your exposure. So that's what I did this weekend. I'm going to show you some videos. I have waivers from all the parents so that I can show their kids on social media. So I'm going to show you some of those videos. I'm not going to play the music because it's very copyrighted music. And the Project Flipped has been killing me with all of the copyrighted music that has been coming my way. So I'm not going to play audio, but I've got some pretty cool videos to show you guys. And you'll be able to recognize which camera I used. What else was I going to say? Oh, and we're going to talk about just kind of the pictures of the DJI Air 3 that I saw today. Like I just got back from camp yesterday, so it's been a little crazy around here. A little update on the glasses. I 3D printed Thor's patch. So I look like Thor tonight. Not really. It was too small, so I had to like put some black electrician's tape around it to make it look decent. But I noticed when I was at camp, I wore a pair of reading glasses on my head the entire time. And every time I went to use my camera, I'd have to put my reading glasses on so that I could read what was on the screen of my camera. But I couldn't see anybody because everybody else was blurry and I could see my phone so I bought bifocals this morning from Amazon. And so I got them right before this. So I 3D printed the eye patch from Thor and taped it on there. But by next week, I will have reprinted this patch about 6 different times so that it looks perfect on these glasses. So that's that. And I've kind of done away with the eye patches. The eye patches are really, really hot and sweaty. Just like COVID, whenever everybody had to wear masks and you couldn't breathe because you were sweating out of your mouth. Same way with the eye patch. So with this, I get airflow above my eye. It's still, it's just black over there. So my eye doesn't overstrain itself and focus. But yeah. And so an update on the eye. I noticed on the last live stream when I lifted up my eye patch, both eyes were looking in the same direction. So I now know how to show you guys what's really happening. So here we go. So right now the eye is almost open a little bit and it's kind of dead. It's not really dead. It's just resting and kind of over in this corner. But here we go. So you guys are wondering, that's the ailment that I have right now. This eye I see better out of this eye that doesn't work right now. So at camp, like all of the pretty colored lights, I would just open both eyes and just kind of stare in the lights because it really, really is beautiful. So we're going to go through some of the rumors and some of the pictures. I just touched my eye patch, so that's probably not a good idea. But first, I want to show you this video. There's a place at camp that is, we've gone there to worship in the past. It's like this overlook of this beautiful river, and there's usually a sunset. So we time it so that the sun sets while we have that service. But before we do that, I want to see who all's here. This might take a while because I have been talking for a good half hour. Maybe not. Maybe I've been talking for 20 minutes. So John Carroll was the first one in the chat tonight. So props to John for being the first one here. He asked for an eye update, so I just gave that. Eat More Possum was second. Stephen Drones was third. Hope y'all are having a good night. Then Dustin from One Vision Aerial showed up. Welcome, Dustin. Hope you're having a good night. Gary from Brand Aerials is here. Yeah. I feel like it repeats itself. I think it gathers chats before I go live, and then as soon as I go live, it starts over and gathers them again. So I don't like that. Eat More Possum said hi, Gary, Dustin, and Hex Daddy. I take it Steven Drones is Hex Daddy. Grumpy Vlogger's in the house. What's up, man? Hope you're having a good night. Hello World and Gary too. Nice. Who else we got here? Lee's here from Yellow Rose Droning. Is it Yellow Rose? It's not Yellow Rose Droning, is it? I wish it showed me the whole name. I think I butchered that. I don't even see where that is. Yellow Rose Drones. Brent Ariel's in the house. Oh, I already said Gary. Akirasho is here. I don't know how to say that. But welcome. Hope you're having a good night. Chuck is here from Cove Action. Welcome to the chat. Hope you're having a good night. Gary says he's going to wait for the Air 3S Pro Classic Enterprise. Nice. Yeah, I am kind of leery of buying the DJI Air 3 if they're going to come out with the Air 3S right after that. That's going to just be everything I wanted. I think the biggest thing for me is going to be the sensor. Some people are saying that it's got 2 lenses, but the sensor has been downgraded. If the sensor has been downgraded, I'm not buying it. I'll just get a Mavic 3 Classic. So let's see who else here. Captain Joe's here. Welcome to the chat. Hope you're having a good night. So there's a potential meetup right here. That's pretty cool. Joe Fadaleo's here. What's up? Hope you're having a good night. You're in Birmingham. I was in Pisgah, Alabama, over the weekend. Let's see. I don't remember seeing anybody. Oh, Maddie's here. What's up, Maddie? What's good? Hope you're having a good night. Sometimes it's pretty easy to get through all the chat because all you're doing is saying hi to each other. Someone will show up and then the next like 10 chats will be everybody saying hi to him. Is that everybody? I feel like I'm getting close to the end. Oh, 107 Drones in the house. What's up, Barkley? Hope you're having a good night. Who else we got? Sluggo's in the house. What's up, Sluggo's RC? Welcome to the chat. Hope you're having a good night. Before you leave, I want you to join the club if you can. Every time I see a new name, I want to make sure y'all know about the club. Chris is here. Sunrise Water Media. What's up? That Jim's Droning is in the house. I haven't said hi to you yet, Jim. Hope you're having a good night. I think this is funny. Seeing how I have Mavic 3, no need Air 3 crap. Yep. %. The Air series will never match the Mavic series. I feel like all of the different series have a place. So Chuck put the link in the chat to the club. So Sluggo, if you would click on that and join the club, we have a quarterly contest to win a T-shirt, along with other things in the club. People share their ideas, share their tips, stuff like that. It's a really fun place. It's a place for us to talk about drones and action cameras and 360 cameras and stuff like that without having a bunch of politics and Karens and ads and you don't have to show, like, I'm not afraid to share something and someone see, a picture of my daughter because they went to my profile and started stalking me or whatever. So it's a cool place to just keep your personal information a little bit limited, and um, all that. So Gary said the Air series fits nicely between the Mini and the Mavic series. Air is supposedly tuned for photos where Mavic is video, or that's my opinion. I love the 4/3 sensor for amazing video detail in D-Log. Yep. Yeah. I have some opinions on the differences with their. I will say the original Air was a toy. The original Air, because the only thing we had before the Air was the Mavic Pro. It was just a smaller 4K drone at that point, and it was a happy marriage between the Spark, which was a 1080 drone, and the Mavic Pro, which was a 4K drone. Besides, like the Inspire and the Phantom, but if we're talking fold-up drones, that's all we had when the original Air came out. Then when the Air 2 came out, there were a lot more foldable drones out by that point. Autel had came into the game, and so the best thing that the Air 2 had was the APAS system, and all of the awesome object avoidance. It could just fly around things. But they started adding that to their other drones as well. When the Air 2S came out and it had a 1-inch sensor on it, that was good enough. It was way better than any of the other cameras that have come out before. And then the Mavic 2 Pro has a pretty decent camera on it, but the problem the thing I didn't like about the Mavic 2 when it came out, and I have a video where I was kind of ranting about the Mavic 2, was you could either have a drone with a decent camera on it, and I believe it was just a 1-inch sensor, or you could have a zoom camera, which was basically the same camera that was on the Mavic, the original DJI Mavic Pro, but it just had a zoom lens on it. Like, it was the same camera, same crappy 4K footage. Even though it was good 4K footage back then, if you compare it to the 4K footage that we're getting out of the Mini 3 Pro now, like, why? I think the Mini 3 compared to Mini 3 and 3, well, the Mini 3 Pro compared to the Air 2, Air 2 has better object avoidance because it can avoid things on the left and right. Okay, that's about it. So with the Air 3, it'll be able to avoid everything around it. It'll be a decent price point. It'll be smaller and compact. You can put it places. So that's why I'm excited about my Air 2S. Is before the Mini 3 Pro, my Air 2S was the drone that I used the most. I'm out of the business of putting cameras on drones that can't handle it anymore. When I started my channel, I would put, a 360 camera on top of my DJI Mavic Pro. And even though it could handle it, wasn't the best idea. There was all this, well, make sure that you turn off these sensors and make sure that you don't cover up your GPS unit. All of a sudden I'm up in the air, 300 feet up in the air, and all of a sudden my drone goes into Addy mode and I'm freaking out. Little things like that. Or they'll, you'll get a high wind velocity warning, but you're not really in high wind. Your drone is just overloaded. Little things like that. People burning out their motors. So My what I like to do now is I like to have a tiny drone that's kind of just with me all the time that I can throw up in the air anywhere. People aren't going to freak out when they see it. I did have a couple kids um, look around for the bees when I was flying the Mini 3 Pro pretty close to them, but everybody knew my drone was there, and I really didn't get near people. I know in my video it looks like I got near people, pretty near people. I flew over their heads, but I was 30 feet up in the air when I was flying over their heads. So anyway, and especially when you're kind of not eye level, but like kind of like right above them, like they were like 50 feet away from me because I was looking in that direction and then framing the whole shot. So they were pretty far away from me. Every time I looked at my screen, I was like, man, maybe I'm getting too close to these people. And then I'd look up and my drone's like way over here. So with that flying with the 2x zoom, I was able to get some really good shots and not even get close to them. So that's pretty cool. So yes, Spotlight is amazing, but okay, so let's see. I want to see what Chuck has to say. So his first comment is the Air is supposedly tuned for photos where, maybe I already showed this, where the Mavic is video. That's his opinion. I love the 4/3 sensor for amazing video details and D-Log. 4/3 sensor is great. It is wonderful. But if you think back to when the Air 2S came out, none of the drones had 4/3 sensors on them. They were 1-inch. And then when the Mavic 3 finally came out, they put a 4/3 sensor on a fold-up drone. But before the Mavic 3 came out, 4/3 sensors were only on Inspires and the Matrice and like bigger drones. So like the X5 was the gimbal that had the 4/3 sensor on it. So with that said, are they going to put a 4/3 sensor on the Air 3? And I'm just throwing that out there because when they pulled out the Air 3S, they put a 1-inch sensor on there. And that was the biggest sensor that we had on fold-up drones up until that point. So in my opinion, they're going to release the Air 3. Everybody's going to buy it. And then come Christmas time, no, it probably won't be Christmas time, but probably next summer, the Air 3S is going to have a 4/3 sensor on it. It's my opinion. So, and it's just kind of the way DJI does things. Then Chuck says the OG Air was his first and last Air. Mavic Pro was better, but didn't have the gimmicky quick shots. So the original Air, I totally agree. I had the original Air. I had fun flying it. It was a fun little drone. I loved how small it was. It checked all the boxes because it was smaller than the Mavic Pro, but performed just as well as the Mavic Pro, in my opinion. And it had quick shots. It also had APAS that could fly around things. So you had all these people flying their DJI Mavic Pros into trees, and then the Air came out, and all of a sudden, it was like one of the first drones that could active track you and avoid things at the same time. Okay. The first time I wrecked my DJI Mavic Pro was during Thanksgiving, right after it had come out. Like, I think I got it in October, and here we are at November at my dad's house. And, you couldn't even buy extra blades for the drone yet. Like that's how new it was. And I think I had two extra blades came with it, like an A and a B. And I was out in my dad's front yard and I was like, check this out. I can draw this green rectangle around myself and it can follow me around. And so I just walked over a little bit and all of a sudden the drone just started beelining for my dad's house, hits the roof, breaks 3 props. And so I had to wait a whole nother month to get an extra set of props so that I could fly my drone again. But the APAS system was first announced on the original Air. And so I've got my original flight video. There's a shot of me flying it straight at my camera and it flying around my camera. And that was when that was introduced. So the Air series has always been the type of drone that, in my opinion, is the most acrobatic. Now, I know that with the Mavic 3, they've added, the smart return to home, where it can fly around things to return home, and it can, it's got a lot of object avoidance sensors all over it. And that's kind of the thing now, is they're putting sensors on every drone. The Inspire 3 has so many different sensors on it. But the Air has always been the cameraman. I'll have to say, it's always been like the one-man cameraman, whereas the Mavic Pro series has always been, I'm framing my shot, I'm getting a good video, I'm, adjusting the settings, I know what I'm doing when I'm pointing it at something, and I will stay up in the air on windy days and stuff like that. So the Air, every time you get a smaller drone, it's harder for it to stay in the air whenever the wind is blowing. But the looks of the Air 3 is a little bit beefier. It has a bigger battery, and it's taller, just like the Mavic 3 series is. So they went from flat drones that fold out to tall drones that fold out. So every drone is getting taller. Like even the Mavic 3 Pro is, even though it's a pretty light drone, it's a lot taller than the original Mini. And I really don't think the smart shots are gimmicky. So I will differ on this. And the only reason is they really pulled me out of a hole this weekend because I can't see very well. And so I was able to get these wonderful B shots with my drone. And Spotlight is awesome. It really is. Any drone you get that has Spotlight, it's just wonderful. So let's see what Jim says. The difference is the original Air and everything after that, upgraded Mavics. Wait, I don't even know what this means. Differences are the original Air and then Air everything after that, upgrading Mavics. Who they kidding? No, I'm not going to put a Blackmagic on the Avata, but I am about to put a Blackmagic camera on an Inspire. But no, putting big cameras on tiny drones, I'm out of the business of that. There's a video where I put I think it's where I put the DJI Pocket on a unique Typhoon 5200. And at the very beginning of that, there's a montage of me doing stupid things on drones. Like I have the GoPro session on the DJI Spark. What the heck was I thinking? Like the GoPro session is like a third the size of the Spark. I also have the Mavic, the original DJI Mavic with an Insta360. It was the second generation, the tall one. I've got one of those on top and on the bottom of the drone. And then there's one with 360 flies. I don't know if you guys ever remember what a 360 fly was, but it was said to be a 360 camera, but it only had like maybe 240 degrees. It was one lens. It was a great idea. No stitching, just one big fisheye lens. I bought two of them, and I put one on top of the drone and one on the bottom. But it was like a big glass ball. It was like a heavy stinking camera. And so you see my DJI, and I'm taking off of it like a 2-liter stand that I got from the gas station. And it's like it takes off and then it dips for the ground and then it picks up and then goes up in the air. Stupid. All right. So here we go. My Exo Mini Pro is a drone I carry for impromptu flights. Air 2S is my go-to for real video with a plan. Yep. The Air 2S is an amazing video camera. It really is. It has a 1-inch sensor. It performs, in my opinion, it performs better than the Mavic 2. It's more acrobatic than the Mavic 2. It has longer range than the Mavic 2. But then the Mavic 3s came out, and obviously that's better than the Air 2S. Just because it's newer and they put better things in it. But we're about to come out with the Air 3, and all the people that like all the original people that bought the original Mavic 3, I think are going to be upset with all of the features that the Air 3 has. Just like they were upset with the Mavic 3 Pro coming out. Like, I spent all this money on my Mavic 3 and now we have a better Mavic 3. So I might get a Mavic 3 Classic just to get that beautiful camera. But I don't know that I need 3 different lenses on my drone, but maybe I do. Maybe that's this Air 3 is going to have a couple cameras on it. So I might want that. I don't know. Jim said the Mavic 2 is a 1-inch sensor. Yep. The Mavic 2 Pro is a 1-inch sensor, and the Mavic 2 Zoom is like a 1/1/3, or it's the same sensor as the Mavic Pro, the original one. Let's see what else we got. Oh, everybody! Since John's here this week, everybody congratulate him on winning the Project Flipped. I will get paid tomorrow, so I will order your shirt tomorrow. This summer, it's always hard for me to get the T-shirt out because of camp. It always hits on this week, so checks in the mail. Just kidding. I'm not used to wearing glasses. I got to get used to wearing glasses. Yeah, my drone was possessed, and I was mad because I'm scared of heights. I'm a big guy, and so I know if I fall, it's going to hurt a lot. And so getting up on that roof and getting my drone was terrifying for me. Let's see. So Jim, I had the original Mavic Pro, and then I sold it to get the DJI Mavic Air. Once I got the once Insta360 came out with the aerial version, the original, I bought the Mavic Pro again. I bought it used just so I could do that, and then it had so many like stitching issues that I just didn't like it. But it's still sitting there. I've flown it 3 times maybe since I bought it, so I'll probably sell that. I got it for $600, but I don't think I can sell it for $600. I don't think I'll get that out of it. So Jim says that the Air 3 only gets 70 millimeter. Whoopee. Mavic 3 has 160 millimeter, which is better. Yep. Unless I have to look at all the sensors. I know that the Mavic 3 has 3 different lenses, but I need to look at what those sensors are. If it's a 170 millimeter lens on a tiny, stupid little sensor, it's not, the quality zoomed in isn't going to be as good as the quality of the wide angle shot that has the nice, beautiful sensor on it. And that's the same thing I'm wondering about the Air 3. If, like, when we start putting 2 or 3 cameras on the drones, if one camera is this big and then the other 2 cameras are this tiny, it's like, it's kind of like your phone, where if you use the camera on the back of your phone, it's really, really good quality, but you can't see yourself. So everybody switches over to the FaceTime camera on the front, which is half the quality of the camera on the back, but shooting YouTube videos, that's the camera I really want to use. So you know what I mean? Like you have to look at the marketing mumbo jumbo, and if they say 4/3 sensor, but there's 3 cameras on there, does every one of those cameras have a full micro 4/3 sensor on it, or is it just the big wide angle lens? And if that's the case, are you ever really going to want to use those other lenses? Like, do you want to just move in a little bit and use the beautiful camera and zoom in a little bit? So those are the trade-offs you have to think about. Let's see what we got here. Looking at the specs leaked today, I'm staying with the Mavic 3 and may buy the Pro. My Air 2S has a larger sensor than the Air 3. Why step back? So that's another thing I want to talk about today. I really think there's a difference between the 2S and the 2. And I think that same difference is going to be there for the 3, and if they come out with a 3S. What DJI likes to do is they try to make things a little better with a whole nother drone in their back pocket, just waiting to come out with that and make their sales again. If you have to step back on sensor size, then there's no way I'm getting that drone. I don't have to zoom in. I can fly closer. You'll see in the video that I can fly really close to people and not get anywhere near them and still get a really good shot. But I did zoom in a lot, and the quality on my zoomed in footage was not as good as my normal 4K footage, but the whole weekend I was shooting in 1080, so I was able to zoom in and not worry about that a lot. But that is a very good point. I will say sometimes the leaks aren't always accurate, so that is something that I'm going to wait and see. I feel like specs, there's no picture of the drone that shows what the internals are. Okay, so you've got pictures. Like, I'll just pull it up right now since we're talking about it. Where's that picture? All right, let's do this. All right. So this picture right here, the only thing that this picture is telling you is that there's two cameras. Okay. The 70 millimeter is bigger than the 24 millimeter. The wide angle shot, which is fairly small, might not have as big a sensor as this zoom lens. So I think that's kind of interesting. To me, I would make the wide angle shot would be the shot that most people would use. I'd make that bigger than the zoom lens, but the zoom lens is a little closer. Also, the wide angle has an f-stop of 1.7, and the 70 millimeter, the zoomed in version, has an f-stop of 2.8. So so the smaller lens that's letting in more light compared to the bigger lens that's letting in less light, are they compensating for those lens sizes, and will they both function in the same lighting scenarios? So those are questions that I have. Like, bigger number, smaller hole. Smaller number, bigger hole. Like, which is it's kind of interesting. But since we're here, let's talk about what we have going on. So the Air 3 drone is supposedly coming out with an RC N2. The thing that I noticed the most on this controller is that they put antennas back on it. So the Air 2S has this this kind of big antenna stack that opens up, and that's where you put your phone in it on the controller. But the RC that comes out with the screen on it doesn't even have antennas on it. So they put antennas back on this, so for bigger range. The other thing is this top part looks very similar to the Air 2S, but the bottom part is a lot taller to accommodate this gimbal. And I want to see if we can get closer up. So if you look at this gimbal, it's very much like an Inspire gimbal. The rotation is from the top, so the whole thing rotates left and right, and then the camera goes up and down. And the whole thing might swivel left and right. Here we have the Flymore package. So it's got the same kind of, like, it looks a lot like the Mini 3 Pro, in my opinion. They've got this, the gimbal cover is always getting better every time. This one has 2 whole sets of extra blades, which is wonderful. And it comes with 3 batteries, and I love this cartridge system that the Mini 3 Pro has. Way better than the little piece of plastic that you plug all your batteries into. I don't know how many times I've kicked that or run up against it and has come off. So I love that. This is like the bottom of the line package that you can get. So you got a drone, controller. See, this is what came with my original DJI Mavic Pro, and I broke 3 blades, and so all I had was 2 extra. And then the drone was so new that I couldn't get extras for like 2 months. But anyway, drones are so like the Mavic Pro was the first of its kind that had ever come out. Nowadays, there'll be like third-party props that are purple within like a couple weeks of release. But yeah, look at these antennas on the RC. Did I already show that picture? All right, here's a close-up of it. You've got sensors. These sensors can look all the way down, like in this direction. These are sensors. Let's see if we can show the back of it. Oh wait, no, those aren't sensors. Those are just places for the blades to go into. I thought for sure those were sensors though. Well, there's sensors back here, so maybe. Yeah, we'll have to see. Yeah, I think that's all I want to talk about there. Something I introduced with the Air 2 was the LED pointing straight down. So that'll probably be there. Let's see what y'all are saying. Oh. So someone put a Twitter link in there, but I can't really go there right now. It'll make me log in. All right. 2 1/1 sensor support dual native ISO for direct output of 4K 60 frames per second HDR video without cropping video. Yeah, Captain Joe, if those are the that's a step backwards. It's a step backwards from the Air 2S, but it's not a step backwards from the Air 2. So the Air 2, that's actually a step up, because they basically just took the same sensor and added another camera to it. So if I am right, I'm going to hold out for the 3S or get like the Mavic 3 Classic or something. But I'm actually thinking about getting the X5S for the Inspire 2 and beef up that drone a little bit, and buy a bunch of batteries before they make the Inspire 2 obsolete like they did the Inspire 1. That's another thing that they could do. Even though the camera is not as good, they could upgrade the processing. If they can shoot 2.7K out of both cameras, I am totally down with that though. Because 2.7K from a drone up-res to 4K looks really good. Because you're not looking at the details really on a drone. You're looking at like the landscape shot. A landscape shot is a lot more forgiving than a close-up interview shot where you can see the pores on their face. If you're looking at a drone shot, you're looking at the entire, like, even though you've got some crispy tree leaves, like, that'd be a great band name, Crispy Tree Leaves. But, every once in a while you look for sharpness in drone footage, but a lot of times you don't want it to be super crispy. You want it to all be in focus, kind of. So if they could record vertical video, well, I'd actually like horizontal video from both cameras at the same time. If they could do that, that would be a big thing. What's up, Charles? Welcome to the chat. Hope you're having a good night. Let's see, what do we got? So are you saying it has the same camera as the Mavic 3 Pro? I'll be interested to see what the sensor sizes are. But up don't ching. Charles says, you know what they say about those big lenses? Someone is compensating for something. Hey, you got to use what you can, man. People made fun of my long selfie stick in the South Florida drone meetup, but I was able to stick my 360 camera over the picnic shelter, and Chris was able to like stick his up to the bottom of the roof of the. So I might have been overcompensating, but I got the aerial shot from my big old long selfie stick. Jim said that's why he uses big lenses. Awesome. All right, I think I've talked about the Air 3 enough. We got about 20 minutes. I want to talk about a couple videos I did at camp. You guys check out, but I think this is really cool. So we always go to the river. It's this beautiful location. This is one of those moments where I was trying to take off and people kept kind of getting near me. Probably hope if I hit play. But the first shot I want to show you guys is of kind of where the, kind of what view we have. So I'm looking around, I'm waiting for a time that nobody's walking towards me. And so, it's not going to work, is it? Oh, come on. There we go. All right. So this is kind of our view. And it's a great, usually the band's on that stage and then the sunset. My video last year, I zoomed all the way into the sun and then I zoomed back through an entire verse of the song. And then you realize, and then it comes to us hanging out. But I've never seen past that little hole. So I flew out a little bit. I flew straight out. And then there's this beautiful river back there. There's power lines over to the right, but it looks like a lighthouse. It's red and white striped power lines, which I think is gorgeous. And I just kind of flew it straight out. And then I was and then I looked over in that direction. I was like, holy crap, look at that view. And when I turned around, I realized that it's going to be pretty hard to find this little hole that I have to fly back through. So I decided to fly back towards it. I thought it'd be a cool shot for the video, but I have to correct in a second because I'm not pointing exactly straight back in the direction that I was at. So I kind of correct right there, and so that kind of ruined the shot. But this to give you kind of an idea of where we are. We're like up on this big hill, and then I ended up taking a group shot with the drone. So trying to get everybody in the shot. I've got 40 minutes left of battery to get this shot. To take a shot of all the campers. But yeah, so I wanted to show you guys that. So we'll stop that, and then I want to play this video. So this video is I basically flew straight up at this point. I didn't go through the hole. I flew straight up, and I looked around, and I wanted to find that view that I originally saw, this view over here. So I start pointing in that direction. And at this point, I have my my RC controller connected to my Wi-Fi on my phone, my data plan, so that I could get maps this time. Because when I went out with Bob, I didn't have all that set up on my controller yet, and so I didn't have any maps. But this time I had maps. But the problem with this map is there was nothing on the map because it's just a forest. But I love the green sludge in the river, like where the river doesn't move. And then I decided I need to start turning around because I really didn't want it to return to home. I wanted to navigate it back to me just because there were so many trees and stuff. Ever since that drone flew into my dad's house, I really don't trust them very much. But check that out, y'all. It's like warm and cool at the same time. The sky's kind of blue. And then there's this like power plant over here. And so basically all I'm flying with is over in the left corner of my drone, there's the map that shows where I've already flown. And then there's a line that's pointing right at my controller. So I basically flew in this direction for a little bit, and then I started kind of turning the drone until my arrow was pointing right back at home, and then started flying towards the home. But I think these power lines that are red and white they're really pretty. And on the screen, looking in this direction, you can't tell where I'm supposed to fly back to. Like the view that I just showed you where I flew out of the deck through the trees, I still can't tell. I only got one eye, but I still can't tell where I'm supposed to fly in. I just now saw it. So well, you can't see where I'm pointing, but all of a sudden I can start to see it. But the video is on a big screen right now. When it's on that tiny screen, finding, those 5 little white shirts that are down there. So anyway, that was just a really quick flight. I knew I had to get, and I just have to fly back down through this tiny little hole. And I'm doing this with one eye from the ground, and I'm probably 100 feet up in the air. So coming down, almost hit that tree. My sensors are going crazy. So I safely got it down. No kids were hurt. But we didn't end up having a service out here. We just ended up eating dinner out here. So, and everybody wants to wave at the drone. So there's that. And then I think I just hand caught it. It just went up. Now it's coming down. There's my belly. So that was that. I'm going to kill those two videos. So the next thing I want to show you, what time is it? All right, I got about 10 minutes. I'm going to show you a video. I'm going to kill that too. I'm going to share a video of just another camp video. But this is a video of the games where I utilize the drone. I just got a copyright strike just then. Awesome. But on this shot, I was able to just do a panning, kind of a jib shot with my drone. So I just, after I turned on the sideways flight pattern, I was able to just fly sideways. And these are the shots that I love doing at camp because I get everybody in the shot. There were years where I missed some people and they were really hurt that they never made it into the video. So as many group shots as I can get, the kids won't freak out. So this was a game on the football field where they had to like capture each other's red solo cups. So this is me flying over them, but I was zoomed in two times, so I really didn't fly over hardly anybody. This is me just kind of getting side shots of the action, but it was really neat to get wide shots. I'm usually like right up in the action. This was a master shot. This is where I almost backed into the building, but I didn't. Then here's another close-up shot of me pointing down. It like the Mini 3 Pro really came in handy this weekend, and so I'm going to. There's the shadow shot of the drone, but there's my wife directing traffic. But it was just a really awesome. Like here's another quick shot, just a great B-roll shot of kind of where they were in the action. And I decided to go through a couple the master shots went really well with the music here, so that's why I kind of ran both of them, or all three of them. And then this was my favorite shot of the video. This is the ending shot. I did an asteroid, and the kids were just like, "Whoa!" I mean, it was a pretty awesome shot. The only thing I don't like about the asteroid is it ends up in a square. So there was that. Now I'm going to show you a shot, or this is a video done with the Insta360 X3. So this one. So this is I've got the X3 on a selfie stick and I'm hanging it down. And this is another shot where I get everybody's faces. There's my son picking his nose. Awesome. There's my daughter. But it's a great way to get everybody in. Like every kid is excited to see themselves on camera. And then what's really cool about this is 10 years from now, they're going to be able to go back and see what, their summer camp experiences was like. I used a lot of the AI tracking in Insta360 Studio here. And this video was actually one of the easiest things to edit because I filmed this. I went in and I put the SD card in the computer, grabbed in Insta360 Studio, you can track a shot, put the start and the end caps on that shot, and add that to the queue. And then I went to go get another shot and added that to the queue. And so my workflow with the Insta360 camera was actually the fastest because I wasn't hunting for clips. I was just creating little clips here and there. And so this one I tracked Keziah. So she's like going to get the bucket and I'm tracking her the whole time. So I'm getting different angles of me like kind of chasing her. Then I tracked the pink bucket. So it's just following the pink bucket. And since there's kids all around me, like it's just doing, it's just doing all the work for me. So that was this video. I'm going to stop this one. And then I'm going to show you the one of the shots that I got with the FS5. Let's see. Oh, well, this one is the arrival to camp. So it's always has it's just kind of the first video. It's a really quick video to get to play Friday night because I don't have much time to get a video ready for the first night of camp because we spend all the time getting to camp. So this was all done with my FS5. It's very jerky because it's not a stabilized camera. And then I did a spotlight shot of the camp, which turned out really, really cool. So, we just arrived at camp. This was an FS5 shot. The only issue that I had at camp, I didn't have time to like color match the different cameras I was using. So I love the look of this. The FS5, it's very kind of nostalgic. Like it's colorful and it's sharp, but it also has kind of like an old school color science. And then when I got inside of the auditorium, it was super hard because all the walls are brown. So it looks so warm. Like all of the video is yellow, but if you look at like some people with blue shirts on, like the color is right. The white balance is correct, but it's so yellow in that room because it's all made out of wood. It also had a hard time with the windows. Like I think that shot turned out okay, but sometimes when they were super backlit, it had a little bit of problem, and I didn't have time to fix all that stuff. But I thought this video kind of shows the auto awesomeness of the FS5. And then these were kind of like last minute drone shots that I did just to cap off, just so I'd have something else cool in the video. This was a helix that I did of the girls playing volleyball that I thought turned out really cool. They didn't do a very good job hitting the balls, but I thought that turned out cool. And then I want to play one more video for you guys, and then we're going to call it a night. I want to play the lake. All right, so this was a time lapse that I did with my Insta360 X3, and then the rest of the shots, pretty sure, are from the Mini 3 Pro. So this is a lake. They call it a lake. It's not a lake. It's a pond. But I was able to get my drone. Like most of these shots, I'm using 2x zoom. Um, so I can. It looks like I fly over people, but I don't really even really fly over them. Um, and I'm flying up to people. Here's a master shot. A lot of these master shots just they really set the scene. Um, like that's a great shot, and I could do that shot by hand, but like whenever you're trying to catch action or things moving, like I didn't want to spend my whole time out at this lake getting like lining up shots and moving in and trying to do this camera move and like backing up and doing it again and backing up and doing it again. Like I wanted to just really get um I wanted to do as many auto functions as possible. So I drew a rectangle around that iceberg in the middle, that blow up slide. Then I did a master shot of that. Then I did a master shot of that, the swing, the rope swing. Um, and then, so that was a great way to transition into watching kids jumping in the water off the swing. Um, I tried to do some like backup moves, barely got her in the shot, but compared to years in the past, like the only thing that I wish I would have done, what that's my son doing a front flip. The only thing I wish I would have done differently is I would have taken these same shots, but I would have given, put some chesty GoPros on, a couple of the life jackets, just so I could get. I would have loved to have gotten one of those flips, one of those front flips from the person's chest, stuff like that. But the Mini 3 Pro with the 45-minute battery, I hope the Air 3 has a 45-minute battery on it. I love the fact that you have two different size batteries on the Mini 3 Pro. Because like just being up in the air, sometimes you're waiting for something to happen. Sometimes I go out and I can get every shot I need in 10 minutes if I want to. But whenever you're like that girl, it took her maybe 5 minutes to get up the courage to jump off of that rope swing. When I'm just sitting there waiting for the shot, you waste a lot of time in the air, and then you get like 3 shots, and then you have to come back home because your battery's going to die. So I love the fact that I have 45 minutes in the sky, and it's legit 45 minutes. Like there's 3 minutes left of the 48-minute battery life that it's saying come back home. And I wasn't very far. I was basically sitting on the other side of the lake. But I saw a video with the guy from Pilot Institute. He was talking to Ken Heron about flying over people, and you're not supposed to hover over people and like spy on them, but you can fly over people and you can fly over cars. If you're flying over them, you're not supposed to hover over an intersection where you're going to fly out of the sky. But if you're flying over them, even if your battery falls out, like you'll probably still be going past them. So I love that I have a better understanding of that now, and knowing is power. So, man, you can see the sun went down because my lighting changed in my room, and there's like a sunset behind me. That's kind of neat. But yeah, that's it. That's the show tonight. Make sure you like this video so people will watch my channel. Hope you guys like this video. Please like, subscribe to my channel, click on the bell for notifications when I put out more live streams and more videos on other things. I've got several videos coming up. One is I want to show you guys the cameras that I used to camp and why they were important. Why I think a cinematic camcorder is way better than a beautiful little mirrorless camera that can shoot for 20 minutes. I want to show you why a 360 camera is better in a lot of circumstances than a GoPro is. Um, I've had instances where my GoPro was dangling off of somebody, or wasn't pointed in the right direction, whereas a 360 camera, it points in all the directions at all the time. It just does all the things. I want to do a video on the Mini 3 Pro and flying close to people. I've never done a video about capturing people. I've always done videos on capturing landscapes and beautiful buildings and beautiful ballparks and stuff like that. But I've never really done a video on filming people and getting kind of close to them, but also flying safe at the same time. So I've got one of those videos in my head. And yeah, I want to emphasize in kind of my next round of videos how to capture moments in time, not planning out a shot and then going and taking it, but how to film things that are happening in life. A lot of you guys have grandkids or kids, and when you go out at the park, my dad, we would go to Kings Island up in Cincinnati, and he'd spend 5 minutes taking a video of the sign. And this was back when it was videotapes, so you couldn't really digitally edit things back then. But he'd spent all this time lining up shots, and then he never had fun. And so I want to teach you guys how to capture moments, like trust your gear, set up your gear properly, so all you have to do is hit record and let your gear do what it's supposed to do. So anyway, so that's another one of my videos. And then I am planning on this is the mount for my Inspire 2, that I am going to add the Insta360 1-inch to it, and get, for the first time ever on my channel, 1-inch 360 video from the sky. And I'm also planning on buying another 1-inch lens. Hopefully I can find one that's cheap without like the rest of the pieces. And I'm going to take it apart and create a VR 180 camera out of it, because that's kind of the buzz right now on Facebook. So yeah, with all that said, I'm going to go to bed. So if y'all could pray for my eye that it heals quickly. Yeah, I'll catch y'all in the next video. Hope you have a wonderful week, and I will catch you on the next stream. Peace out.